Colin, thanks for agreeing to do this with us, mate. Tell us all about your life, your ups and downs, where you've been in life, your travels, experiences, stuff like that. So, tell us a little bit about yourself, Col.
Certainly, yeah. Sit back and relax.
Yeah.
It's going to be a long one, this, I think. Currently 48 years of age, been through quite a bit in my life. Grew up in Broad Green, most of the time. I lived down the Raleigh. Went to Broad Green School, went to a little school, primary school, Malvern, not many people know of it.
Yeah.
So I lived there all my life until I initially got married and moved up to Huyton. Been forever home since. But my journey before all that was fine. Going throughout school, great. School, football team, loved all kinds of sports. Went to sixth form, got a job working in Sayers and Lorenzo Drive. I think everyone knows that one, Noble Bakers. In there for a couple of months and then sort of took a couple of pains in my body. Woke up the next morning, just 17 years of age, literally paralysed, couldn't move, bedridden. Christ knows what it was. Ended up in hospital about 3.5 months. No one knew what it was. Tested for cancer, leukemia. Just literally could not move with pains, temperatures off the charts. But the problem at that time was I was too old for Alderday. I had to go to Broad Green Hospital, and back in those days it was the long corridors. You get people with dementia trying to get into your beds, and after many tests and observations, they come to me one night and said, "You've got Still's disease." Right, what's that? Well, I think all the family were overjoyed because it was like a form of arthritis. So put me on steroids, really high dose of steroids at the time. And I remember my dad, God bless him, he had to stay with me overnight, because I was really poorly. Putting me into cold showers, trying to get my temperature down, and then this night they put the steroids in me. Woke up the next morning like it was like the old cowboy and western films where the temperature and the fever just comes out your body. Woke up right as rain, absolutely delighted, thinking, oh, okay, I'm back here. Got discharged, obviously 3 months later, without any medication. Had a bit of a relapse, took me back into hospital again. So as obviously the family, you think the worst, you think cancers and all those type of, and so obviously when they told it was arthritis, you think, okay, we can live with that. Yeah, you can live with it, but you also live with the pain as well every day of the week. So yeah, my life literally turned overnight, from being sporty, fit and active to...
How old was you then, 17?
17, yeah, living in constant pain.
How did that affect you, like, growing up? Sort of like for like you, because you're only like getting into your early youth, and you're reading or certain late teens. It was
hard because I'd be in bed at 6 o'clock of the night. I couldn't move, so you're all your mates, and to be fair, the lads and the girls who hung around with at that age, they all stuck by me. They're always coming to see you, but in the back of your mind, you're thinking, they're going to O5, they're going to the States, and I didn't have those opportunities. I missed many years of doing that.
You're still friends with most of them now?
Still friends with most of them, yeah. So you don't see them as often you want to, but I know for a fact if you pick up the phone and go, I need a bit of help or support, they'll be the first there to you. So started to get with the medication, coming around, getting a bit more active. And then by the age of 21, because of all the medication I was on, I had to have 2 hip replacements back to back. So it was 3 months after each other, and that was the days where you were in hospital, laying in bed for 12 days, you couldn't move. So I had those. I thought, okay, I'm doing all right at the moment. So my dad was working at the time, the Brothers of Charity, another well-known place up in Dingwall. I started volunteering, just needed to do something in my life, and not one of those you like want to sit down and do nothing. Got this volunteering role, a couple of hours a week. Then they turned around and said, you're quite handy on a computer, you know your way around it, and they created the job for me. So carried on doing what I'd done, volunteering for a few hours, then this post come available. And then a couple of years down the line again, I needed to have a knee replacement, so I ended up having 1 knee replacement at that time. So I've always lived with Still's disease. It's a rare form of arthritis, I should have explained that. So it doesn't just affect your joints, it affects your organs as well. So it's a limiting condition. It's people in pain, it's constant pain all the time. But I've always had that positive outlook of, I could have got a conversation to say I've got 3 weeks to live. So I think it's about being positive in life, looking at look at your own journey and go, I'm still quite blessed, to be fair, because I'm still here, still do what I do. But over the number of the years, I did get married. Married for 11 years, and then obviously divorce happened as well. But through that time, I had to get my foot fused, so that was really tricky period in my life. So you couldn't walk you couldn't walk for 3 months, so you're literally having to hobble around, going through a divorce, living on your own with a bed downstairs, and again, fortunately, I had good friends like yourself, and stuck around me who were there to support you, and I think it's really important that you've got a good circle.
I remember it was a bad time for you, but it was also a funny time as well.
It was.
We did have some laughs.
I think that's what you've got to experience in life. You've got to laugh at the bad and take the bad with the good as well. So I think it's what makes who you are. Having that positivity and positivity of outlook. So yeah, I've had a few really torrid times in your life. Obviously, divorce is a big thing, but you look back and go, what makes you who you are? You put your foundations a bit deeper. So gone through divorce, lost my dad in 2008. He was the rock. He was an absolute rock, and everyone loved him. He wasn't just a dad; it was a family friend. And I don't think it grieved, because it got to a point where going through all this, I'd say it was about 7 years ago now. It just hit me like a ton of bricks. Bit of depression kicked in. I was in work at the time, and I just was driving to Southport, and I couldn't handle it. I just wasn't suicidal or nothing, but I just wasn't in the right place. So I took myself to the doctors, didn't tell any family or friends, spoke to them.
That's probably a time when some people didn't they? If they were going through some things.
Absolutely.
There's times when you don't want to speak to anybody, but it's probably people are more alert to it now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of help out there, but going back a few years, there probably wasn't as much.
It's a man thing, isn't it? Give your head a wobble, all that conversation.
Yeah, that old stigma of ever being a man thing,
Of course, and I think for me, I've been through it all, and I haven't got the badge of honour, but I've got those experiences again. People who are around me who give you, try this little remedy, or try this, or do that. And one of the things, obviously, again, going back through the divorce with the depression, was Professor Phillips, the Chin Paradox. I don't know if anyone's read that, but it's one of the best books that'll get you through life. It's come about through Luis Suarez, who was biting players and things like that. It's about controlling your chin before you react, and especially going through a divorce. So anyone who's been through a divorce, you get a phone call and you say things you don't really want to say. It's about slowing your brain down to react and going, you know what, I'll deal with that at a later stage. So yeah, when we obviously all that come flooding back with me losing my dad, going through a divorce, thinking, where's my life going? But I continued working all the way through, even through the younger days. I've always worked. I'm quite proud. I'm a big advocate. Look, even if you struggle, you can still do something with your life. I'm in a position now, I'm a regional manager, depot manager, doing really well for myself, which, again, every day's a struggle. But you know what? Again, you look at other people around there who's they've just been told they've got weeks to live, for example. So I am still quite lucky. But yeah, I think life's for living, enjoying those experiences. So after I've got 3 kids, I had 2 kids in marriage, and then I had another son who was out of marriage to another partner, but that didn't happen. And then I think I've found my soulmate now. You just know when someone's you've met that right person, where you become not just your partner, but you become your best friend. You have that banter, and 3 years in nearly now, and good times about enjoying life. And I think, you don't work to live, you live to work. It's that motto. Enjoy life as well. It's too short. You don't know what's around the corner. So for me, exactly. It's been up and down on a roller coaster, but I always take those ups and go, do you know what? Look at them as a learning curve. Everything in life's a learning curve, and enjoy every moment.
So we'll do a little salute to Elaine. Elaine.
Yeah, she puts up with me as well. Yeah, absolutely. But that's what it's all about. And I think people who have experienced and gone through divorce, and you think, oh, is it ever going to be? But when you find that one, and you enjoy life again, and it is. It's. I think as you get older as well, you learn from all your mistakes and the life lessons, aren't they?
Yeah. Is there anything that you can think of with Elaine, and even with yourself, that you both bring to the relationship where you may not have had before, but you've got now? There's
laughter. Laughter. Honestly, I think for us, it's the little things in life. I think, again, going through all your experience, and I think the couple of weeks into the relationship where I was invited over for a meal, and she bought a bottle of chili flakes. I know it sounds stupid, but it meant someone was thinking about you. They'd listen to what you were talking about. And I've always been a firm believer, treat how you want to be treated. It's important that. So it's when someone actually goes out the way and thinks, oh, I'm going to get some chili flakes. Something as simple as that, it goes a long way.
Yeah, it does.
So and laughter. I want also take the piss out of each other a little bit.
Yeah.
It's having that banter you need where you think, yeah, this is the right path. And I always said I'd never get married again. I don't know nowadays. It potentially could be. But again, looking at all those past experience, you think, oh God, where's my life going to end up?
Yeah.
Especially with my illness and everything else, you think, what's around the corner?
Yeah.
So it's really important that we live for today as well and enjoy those experiences.
Yeah. I know it sounds a bit of a strange question, but how would you think Elaine compares to past relationship marriages and stuff like that? Is there similarities? Is there stuff that anything that just stands out? You know what I mean? It's just like, because sometimes when we go into a relationship, we tend to treat the next person like the last person. I think most people are guilty of doing that.
Yeah, I get the question you're asking there. I think for me, it's a different experience. This one, I think, obviously, it's with two different families coming together as well. Sometimes makes it a bit harder, which makes you want to work at it. I think every relationship has got to be worked at. You don't just expect it to happen. Obviously, I got married for a reason. It was right at the time. But you go through your life and you just weren't compatible when you at the end of the day. And I know you look at relationships back in the years ago. You probably ask someone in the 1780s, you're happily married. They'll say no. It was just you just stuck together because that was the form of what a marriage was. Where I think if you're unhappy in something, why continue it? So to find a relationship where obviously Elaine's got 3 kids, I've got 3 kids, and it works really well. But it's that synergy between you that you've got to keep working at it, enjoying your times. And obviously we're a bit older now, the kids are a bit more grown. We're allowed to have that time as well. No little trips away or little holidays or nights out. It's having those times to yourself. And I think in the early days when you've got young, that's hard to have as well. Yeah. I think that doesn't help like the relationship.
Yeah, hinders the relationship a bit, doesn't it? When you can't do certain things that you want to do because of the kids and stuff like that. Absolutely.
So now we're at an age where I say they're a bit older, you can have those experiences, and it's important to have them and enjoy it. Enjoy life. So I'm in a good place with it all at the moment.
Yeah, which is good. You said a little bit earlier that you didn't really mourn, sort of thing. What did you do? What was your coping mechanism? Was it just something that just come naturally, or did you put yourself into something? I know you work, you've always worked and things, but is there anything you did really that you can think back that you think may have took like the burden off, sort of thing?
I think I become my dad to the family. Colin can sort it. Colin can help us do this. Colin can do that. So you just absorb all that. And it wasn't until you got to that point where I just couldn't do it at the time. It was that mental space, I didn't have it. And at the time I was working up in Ainsdale. I was working in a church hall, bizarrely, and it was one of the Father Tony Slingo, great man, sat with me, and he was like, you don't have to say no to people, just say I can do it, but I can't do it at the moment. So it was one of those lessons where you've got to look after yourself first. And I think having younger kids and going through divorce, I was putting the kids before myself as well, where he sort of sat down and went, you've said if you can't look after yourself first, you can't look after others. And it was a real massive life lesson where it's difficult. If you've got kids, you always say, I'll put my kids first. You've got to put yourself first. And I know it's hard to say that, but you've got to, because if you're on the right frame of mind or in the right place, how can then you go on to support others? So I think I just become me dad. Colin can do this, Colin can sort this, and keep yourself busy. You think that's your coping mechanism, but it comes creeping up on you where the carrier bag, your carrier bag's too full in your head. One letter or one thing or one phone call just takes it, overfills, and it spills out, and where you've got to. And I still have those moments, still have them, but I can see it coming where I think I've got to back off from doing stuff, take myself away and just offload stuff just in my own head to go, right, okay, I can go again now, because it's life's busy, life's hard, and every day is a sort of challenge for everyone. So it's realising and seeing the spot on the signs to go, it's a bit too much going on at the moment, I've got to back off. And again, that's a life lesson.
If you give yourself, when you were younger, advice, what would you do? And the other one would be, if you go back and change the way you were coping and things like that, would you do it differently? Would you have mourned? Would you have just done exactly the same? I know it's built you into probably half the man you are, sort of thing, doing that, but would you have done it differently?
I've often thought that would it change anything in life. I don't think it would, because I've learned from those lessons. I think life's a journey, and it's how you learn from those, either mistakes or you learn from it. And I don't think I would, because I wouldn't be the person who I am. Even living with my condition since the age of 17 years of age, would it change that? I would, because of the pain and obviously the stuff, but no, because that's formed who I am, and that's I'm a big advocate for making, give people opportunities as well for yourself and others, and so I don't think it would change anything. No, it set me up to where I am. I think what you go through, you learn from, and I think now, obviously at this point in life, when you do stuff, it's like I'd say, you put your roots even further to make sure your tree doesn't rock, or you put your foundations in and build your own castle and be control of yourself. And life lessons is all about that. It's about learning from those mistakes and everything else.
So going back to when you were younger then, what advice would you give to your younger self, whether it be very young, mid-teens, early 20s, any advice you could probably give to yourself?
Yeah, believe in yourself more.
Yeah.
Believe in yourself more. Otherwise, sometimes you doubt yourself and your own abilities. It's only in the later life I started getting qualifications. I'm not the brightest there, but have a belief in yourself. Trust yourself, trust your intuitions, and go for it. I wish I probably would have travelled more if I could have. I think see the world a bit more, but I think most people would say that, because there's a big world out there they haven't tapped, just go and see. But believe in yourself. Believe in yourself, and it takes you to get to 48 to believe that, doesn't it? And it's at a younger age, you think
Is there anything going back then for when you were younger, growing up, like going to work and things like that, getting to later in life? Is there anything that you wish you had done? I know you said travelling and things like that, but is there anything else that you would have liked to have gone back and done?
Yeah, I think probably the younger days of when I was really ill and all my mates were going out and clubbing, and I had a couple of years experience of all that, and I think just to have gone there and experienced a bit more. But job wise, no, because I'm doing it now, I suppose. I'm in a position where I'm enjoying what I'm doing. Again, it's I think the journey sets you up to where you become. That's where I'm on. I don't have regrets. I don't think you can have regrets, and I'm quite a chilled out person. Just and take all those experiences on the chin and go with it, and just enjoy it.
Yeah, I think my own mother told me about that, about regrets, where when I asked you that question, was there anything that you did regret? I'm probably the same. We all do have regrets as such. But my mum always said your regrets become opportunities. Your old regrets, like you'll do it, it'll either be yourself, you'll get an opportunity, or it'll give you the opportunity to give past the experience of those regrets onto your kids, your family, stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like it's the same with the way you're working now. You've got a decent job now. When you're growing up, you didn't. So when your kids get to that age, you've got that advice, that experience to give to them to push them a bit more.
Totally, and it's saying to them, don't get those experiences. You want to go and travel the world, go and do it.
Yeah.
There's marriage and kids down the line. Hopefully, you're going to be a grandparent, but go and do it. Don't get to a point of your age where you think, oh God, I've got probably less years going forward than I have lived. Yeah. So it's life's a roller coaster, and it's going really fast. So if you don't do it, when will you do it? Don't put it off. Don't put off today what you can tomorrow do. Yeah. So it's
So I know you're in a decent job now. What did you want to do when you were growing up? Is there anything like, did you want to be an astronaut, all that kind of stuff? Do you know what I mean? Is there anything you wanted to do?
I think like any kid growing up in Liverpool wants to be a footballer.
Yeah.
First and foremost, be part of football. That got obviously cut short at the age of 17. Literally couldn't even walk at the time. So I think most kids want to be football. But again, with everything that I've lived through, can't sometimes achieve your dreams or your ambitions. And for me, I live it through the kids' football, being involved in the kids' football. But job-wise, there's nothing. You'd go to the teachers in school in sixth form or whatever, saying, "Oh, what do you want to be?" I don't know. I done work experience back in the day, and it was a site manager. I think I'd only wanted to be that job because I was driving around in a convertible Jeep with them, thinking, oh, this looks all right.
But do you want to tell us a little bit about the company you're working for now, what they do? Because I know they do a lot of stuff for the local communities and stuff, don't they?
They do them huge. So we've just been going through a rebrand. We've now been called Felix. So we were historically called Fairshare. So we support all the food banks and school breakfast clubs right across Merseyside and North Wales. So 250 community groups every week. We provide food, which is donated from huge manufacturers. So oversee 100 volunteers, 18 staff, regional depot that's just been funded by King Charles. So it's quite a huge operation. 13 vans, so there's a bit of a fleet, but it's a rewarding job because you're providing food who not necessarily people who need the support. It's all about being dignified as well as a key. Everything we do and work, and I put it to the team all the time, it's the dignity element of it all, because you don't know what's around the corner for us all. We say you 2 or 3 paychecks around, dominoes falling down. So for us, if someone needs our support, we're there to do it, and it's the key factor all the time is that dignity element. So with this merger with a company called Felix down in London, so we're now in 7 depots right across the UK. So we're a national charity, and they got in the doors with the government through DEFRA. So it's trying to make changes, campaigning for changes. Well, free school dinners, that should have been a given years ago. People aren't pushing for that. You don't know, never assume what people are going through. And like I say, food, everyone needs food. It's the fuel for everyone. So it's a job where I feel like we're doing something, making a difference to people's lives. So yeah, I'm enjoying it, really am enjoying it, and I don't know what's around the corner for me, but currently what I'm doing is you don't dread the heartbeat on a Sunday night thinking, oh, I've got work tomorrow. It's fulfilling, rewarding, and especially if you're going into your own local community night, and where there's been a food bank or a social supermarket, and people coming away and feeling valued, that it's not a handout, because people are sometimes they pay a membership in most of these places for the food that they receive, and we wouldn't give out what we wouldn't expect to have on our own plate as well. So I can't stress enough the dignity element of it all, because people might have lost their jobs or something happened in life where they're at rock bottom of you. They'd start pointing fingers and laughing at people, going, that's not a nice place to be. I wouldn't want to be in if someone needed our support. Absolutely, we're there to do it. So it's 255 community groups and growing. That includes schools, hostels, breakfast clubs, social supermarkets. So yeah, it's one of those jobs where get a lot of job satisfaction out of it, which not many people can say they've got that as well. So
thanks very much, Col.
Thanks, Peter.
Thanks for giving me your time.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for listening to me as well.
Cheers, Col. Thank you.
Take care, mate.
Thanks for the coffee.
Yeah.